Okay, so once again, welcome Elaine to the Zoom room for another Art of Letting Go live session. So let's jump into today's daily quote, bit of teaching around that, and that will lead us nicely into today's lesson, another review lesson. 144 we're on to. Okay, so I'll share my screen with you. So you can read the headline quote for today from Dieter Uchtdorf.
Yeah. Though we are
All right, so sorry, just start again, eh?
Yeah. Though we are incomplete, God loves us completely. Though we are imperfect, He loves us perfectly. Though we may feel lost and without compass, God's love encompasses completely. He loves every one of us, even those who are flawed, rejected, awkward, sorrowful, or broken.
Lovely, lovely quote that. He was an aviator, actually, but also a religious leader in Germany. Speaks of the love of God that heals all flaws, rejection, awkwardness. We all know how that feels. Sorrowful, broken. Because the truth is that all these imperfections aren't real. In truth, we are all pure formless awareness of perfect, unconditional love. Perfect love, synonym for that is unconditional love. Without opposite, that we call God. One of today's workbook lessons for review states, read that, that's the original lesson.
There is no love but God's. There is no love but perfect loves.
There is no love but perfect loves. So none of the other forms of love that we've invented are real. What it's saying. And why is this? Because divine love, the love of God, is pure formless awareness of perfect love before the universe of time and space came into seeming existence. So it is primordial reality, right? The timeless essence or ground of being, as it's been called by some philosophers, that underlies this physical universe of time and space. Divine love's meaning cannot be derived from an analysis of human existence, because its meaning comes from beyond the dilemma of human existence, which was expressed really well by Shakespeare in Hamlet. This is one of the most famous monologues of all time, theatrical history, this to be or not to be. So if you can read that, Elaine.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them.
Yeah, so to be or not to be. And you're saying that your two options are you either surrender, just as he calls it, and just surrender to that and go, that's a sort of a stoic way, and more in alignment with the Course, or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them. And this is the way of the ego. Okay, so yeah, sea of troubles, but I'm going to sort it out. The ego is going to sort out the sea of troubles. And by opposing them, end them. You'll do something about it. But they never end, do they?
Yeah.
The sea carries on. I mean, look at the ocean. Oh, I'll take arms against the ocean. I'm gonna calm the waves. It's like, well, good luck with that. It's just gonna keep happening. And there are gonna be times where the ocean's calm, there are gonna be times where it's very rough and stormy. It's just how it goes. So, better to just let go. First option. Just let go and realize that none of it's true. That these troubles, the sea of troubles, simply isn't true. So you can't end them by opposing them. If you oppose them, you make them real, and you don't end them. You perpetuate them. The end of them is to let them go and not give them a reality anymore. That's the way out. Yeah. So otherwise, it would not answer the dilemma, because the seeming dilemma is human existence itself. So let's go back. Meaning comes from beyond the dilemma. Divine love's meaning, this is the context of this, comes from beyond the dilemma of human existence. If it didn't, if it was rooted in this world, it wouldn't really answer the dilemma, because the seeming dilemma is human existence itself. So how can you find the answer to the paradox of human existence as a human? If you think you're human, then you're in the paradox. You believe the paradox, and there's no answer. And this is the approach of so many people, and it's what are called spiritual teachings, trying to solve the dilemma of human existence as a human. And you'll never do it. You have to go beyond the human identification with the human to do it. So we ask ourselves the question: is human life real and meaningful? From within a thought system that seeks to prove that it is, we're bound to receive the answer that we set out to find, aren't we?
Mm.
Okay, well, you ask that question and you want evidence for that, then you'll find it. And we find all kinds of ways of justifying our human existence. Well, we have what's the primary way? Think about it tonight. What's the primary way we make human life real and meaningful?
With our special relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Special, isn't that what defines us? Mostly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's all worthwhile because I have these special people in my life. I have a special partner. Many people then have children, so I have children, and they feel the same way to me, and they're these bonds that seemingly make it all worthwhile. And then, if people want to commit suicide, what keeps them here? Well, my special relationships, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to hurt anyone else, and there's some meaning and some value and some purpose here. I'm not suggesting everyone commit suicide. No, just see the special relationships for what they are, that they define your human existence and they give it some kind of meaning and purpose. And yes, you're saying, but that it has no meaning and purpose. Nothing I see means anything. So anything that binds you into what is ultimately meaningless and purposeless must be then part of a defense mechanism for that meaningless, purposeless existence. And that's what the special relationship is. It's the ego's chief weapon that it uses to bind you into this world. So we bound to receive the answer we set out to find. If we say, is human life real and meaningful? And we look for an answer to that, you'll probably look to your special relationships. Maybe to your ego's goals. Okay, well, I have a vision, I have a mission in this world, I have some kind of worldly purpose. That might be a career, it might be a business, it might be, some transcendent purpose, maybe. So that's another way people do it. But most people do it through the special relationships. And we have to see that that's just another setup. The ego's got us to identify again with ourselves as human. And then we keep suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. And eventually it's going one way to death. So do you want to keep doing that over and over? Because you can if you want. We've done it many, many times. or he's offering us another way, a way out of that timeline of suffering, and the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that seem to just keep happening, don't they? It's
Yeah.
like whatever you do, it just keeps happening. Let's look at our timeline here. Look at in an average life what someone might have to experience, and these are common experiences that I've had some of them. Other people in the community have had some of them. Divorce, rejection, death of a parent. What else? Loss of a job, sickness, heart attack, stress, maybe some success. Sold a business. John sold his business 10 years ago. Existential crisis of retirement. That's common. Illness. These are pretty common experiences in an average human life, aren't they? And this is what he's talking about. Well, these are the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that you seem to be bound to experience. As long as you think you're in this world as a separate self, you're bound to go through your life and experience these things. And that's what we call karma. But he's saying there's a way out of this. You don't have to keep doing this. Your way out is to question this. Start questioning the whole construct. And seeing that maybe it's just not true. That the cycle of birth and death and this linear timeline with all these slings and arrows of outrageous fortune and being a separate self is not true. That's what he means by to be or not to be. Am I going to be a human being or not? You can't choose not to be alive, not to have life, because that's given to you eternally. But you can choose whether you're going to do it as a human, have a human life and a human experience. That is your choice. The ego doesn't want you to remember that choice because it wants to perpetuate this thought system that keeps you coming back. But you do have a choice, and you must ultimately choose. Okay, does that make sense?
It does.
Let's have a look back at, sorry, wrong one. So do these answers that the ego gives us, do they really satisfy us? Can we say my life is real and meaningful because of a special relationship, for instance?
Yeah, no.
Can I say my life is real and meaningful because of some purpose, some goal I give myself in the world? Oh, I'd like to make money, or I'd like to build something. I'd like to create something. Even
Temporary.
I'd like to, I'd like to do something for others. Okay, but still, if that binds you here in your mind, that's just another attachment. The idea is to do it without any attachment. I do it selflessly, moment by moment, but I'm not attached to it. So if I'm asked to leave now, right now, and just leave the planet and go back into pure formless awareness, there's nothing holding me here. And that's the level of undoing that he's talking about, that Yeshua's talking about. Now, does this answer really satisfy us, or will there always be some lingering doubt we haven't been totally honest in asking the right questions until we actually ask these questions? We need to start asking the right questions. In one of the sections of the text today, Yeshua gives us 2 questions. Let me bring it up. What was it? Chapter 12, 3, I think. Who is to be saved? Got the right one. Yeah, I think this is the one. See if I can find it. Maybe it's earlier. Who is to be saved? Yeah, there we go. So the question is always twofold. First, what is to be freed? And second, how can it be freed? Now, these are the questions to ask. What is to be freed is my mind from its false belief in separation, i.e. the ego. And secondly, then, following on from what is to be freed, how can it be freed? And he's given us this practice of radically letting go to answer that. So those are, two honest questions. But the ego wants us to ask all kinds of questions that are not necessarily helpful. Like, what makes my life as a human being real and meaningful? Is that really a helpful question? Because you've defined yourself by definition in the question as human. So this is what he has to say about the ego's questioning. If you want to read that from the introduction to the manual. Sorry, for the clarification of terms.
The ego will demand many answers that this course does not give. It does not recognize as questions the mere form of a question to which an answer is impossible. The ego may ask, how did the impossible occur? To what did the impossible happen? And may ask this in many forms, yet there is no answer, only an experience. Seek only this and do not let theology delay you.
Yeah, we've dealt with this passage before, but until we fully had the experience that he's talking about, we still question. We ask all these questions, which are just egoic questions. For instance, we may ask whether another human being loves us. Does this person love me? But it's a question asked from an extremely limited human perspective, framed in the parenthesis between birth and death that we call a human lifetime, or is subject to the fundamental law of time, which is that all things must end. Okay, you've asked the question about, does someone love me? That presupposes that there's a me, a separate self, to be loved. And these relationships with other human beings, Yeshua calls special relationships in the Course of Miracles, because they assume that both you and the other person in the relationship are ontologically real. So ontology is the study of being, saying you have a reality as this separate self. And then they try to find the answer to this question within the ego's framework of seeming reality. The question of, how does my separate self be happy? Within the ego's framework of seeming, quote, reality that the assumption miscreates. And by asking assumptive questions that dictate a certain answer, our ego, which remembers nothing more than our belief in separation and a separate self, it goes along as part and parcel of the belief in separation, seeks to justify and perpetuate its existence in our minds. Far better approach would be to question the assumptions themselves. So in the previous example, instead of asking whether another person really loves us, ask yourself if there really is another person who's separate from you to love. Much better question. And this line of questioning will ultimately take you beyond the subject-object dualistic perception that characterizes this world into acceptance that there is in truth only one reality. Or call it the love of God, or call it presence, or call it the ground of being. You can use whichever term you prefer. It's the same thing. In which we are all united with every seeming other person and living creature, seemingly living in this physical universe. So they seem to be here, they seem to have their own separate will or identity, but that is just seeming. That's just part of the illusion. It's not actually true, and it never has been true. Okay, so that leads us into our session. Any thoughts, comments, or questions on this? All right, there's some depth here, and I've gone into it a little bit. to just get you to start seeing it differently and make you maybe asking different questions. So, for instance, in your situation with your two friends, instead of saying, "Oh, how am I going to cope?" when if I see them, ask yourself instead, are they even there? Are they even real? Are these people even do they even exist, or am I just making it all up?
Yeah. Yeah.
A different kind of question, because if you ask the wrong questions, then the ego will keep giving you the wrong answer.
Right.
And you might say, "Well, I'm questioning and I'm asking, but I'm not getting any real insights because you're asking the wrong questions."
Right. Right.
Instead of asking, "How do I cope?" as a separate self, ask yourself, "Well, is any of this even real? Is there even a separate self that needs to cope? Do these people
Yeah.
even really exist?" If the answer is no, then it collapses the whole thing, doesn't it? They don't even really exist, neither do you. So what are you bothered about? Why the drama? It's much ado about nothing. They don't even
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that is the radical letting go. And you're like, well, I can experience a peace that transcends all this. And that reminds me of this eternal presence, this ground of being, the love of God that is always there. And then that can infuse my perception of them on this level with its beneficence and its grace. And I no longer judge them, and I no longer feel that separation. So it's very, very practical. And some people might go, it's all a bit woo-woo and a bit abstract. But what we've got to do is make it very, very practical by using these principles and applying them in these daily life situations to make a significant difference to us and to others. Okay. So that's a nice intro to today's lesson. Let's dive into today's workbook lesson 144. So let's go. So you want to read that lesson in the original and the alternative, and maybe just do it. I couldn't fit it all on one slide, so my mind holds only what I think with God, and then my mind holds only what I think with pure formless awareness of perfect love. Do it like that, yeah. And the same for the other, the first review idea. I think you're muted, Elaine. Okay, Elaine, are you there? No, gone away. Okay, I'll read it then. So,
sorry, I'm here. Yes, I just have to quickly open the door there. My mind holds only what I think with God, or pure formless awareness of perfect love.
So read it. My mind holds only what I think with pure formless awareness. I just haven't been able to do it because it doesn't all fit on one slide. So that's why I've done it format.
My mind holds only what I think with pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Yeah, just contemplate that for a moment. What does that actually mean? If that's true, and there's only this awareness in your mind, you see how utterly life transforming that would be.
Very much. Very much.
It's the end of the ego. There's no separate self. There's no separate awareness anymore going on. My mind holds only what I think with this pure formless awareness of perfect love, we call it. And the ego's, thoughts and feelings just fade away.
Yeah.
Very, very profound. And you know, that's why you remember Lynn had some resistance to it. It's like, because it's so profound. It's like it's the end of the ego in one simple sentence of a few words. My mind really does hold only what I think with God or pure formless awareness of perfect love. Translated is better because it's an awareness. It's a perfectly loving awareness.
Which is,
The
yeah.
mind holds only what I think with loving awareness, we could say.
Which is, to me, it feels comforting, actually.
Yeah,
It's comforting.
hugely comforting. But for the ego, that's it. Game over. There's no separate
Yeah.
self anymore. There's no self to be offended or upset or hold a grievance or attack or defend, be fearful, be angry. Yeah, that's all gone in this simple statement. Because my mind just doesn't hold any of those thoughts anymore. So that's kind of the overarching lesson he gives us in these review lessons to remind ourselves, and then the specific lessons for the day follow. So 2 lessons. So there is no love but God's. Reading the alternative as well.
Yeah. There is no love but pure formless awareness of perfect loves.
Yeah. So what does that mean to you?
Well, it makes more sense at this stage in my life after the many experiences of disappointment. Yeah.
We all seek for special love. That's the ego's
We do.
program.
We do.
We're wired up to do that, whether that's through a human being or through pets. That's a common way people do
Pets,
that.
yeah, for me it's pets, yes.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. I'm
Oh, yeah,
seeking
yes.
love in form, and that is really a substitute for divine love that's eternal, because those those special relationships won't last. You know,
No,
pets particularly, I mean, that's not a lesson. They die every 10 or 15 years.
yeah.
So, you know, they don't last. Then people get another one. But it's like, but are you really solving the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Get another one, and you might do that 5 or 6 times in your life, and then you die. Okay. So what's it really all about? Is that, you know, seeking some kind of love in the pet, is that really solving the problem of
No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, the ego and why we die and why there's suffering and pain and suffering and sickness and death? It doesn't solve anything. It just keeps your mind bound to the illusion that somehow the special relationship with the pet is going to work, and it's gonna help you and save you.
Mm.
Okay, so
But it can give, somebody who's living on their own a bit of sort of company, gives them a bit of, to go
yeah,
out. So it does have.
I'm not saying don't have them. I'm saying, but do it from the right mindset.
Oh, I see. Yes,
You
yes.
see, you're not doing it because you're seeking to perpetuate your ego, and you're seeking special love over divine love. No, you have a holy relation. You see them as they really are. They are the same loving awareness that you are.
Yeah.
And you can feel that, and you can connect with them, and you can share that. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't get attached to it. Don't get attached to the form of that love in the form of the pet and its body and its seeming identity, because it's going to fade away and die, and then you'll suffer. Which unfortunately is what most people do. They get attached to their pets and human beings, and then inevitably those pets and human beings die, and then we suffer, because now a part of us has got identified with the pet, and we define ourselves through our special relationships. So if the pet or the person dies, then I am, a part of me is dying. I'm diminished. You see, that's the problem. And then I suffer. And that's all grief is, a sense of the separate self suffering because what it attached to and valued in this world is no longer there. And then it feels like it's lost something valuable. It's lost a part of its identity. And that's why we grieve. Because we feel like we've lost a part of ourselves when a person or a pet or anything dies. Does that make sense?
It does.
So don't go there. It's just saying don't go there. There is no love but God's. Again, is a very clear statement that there is only this divine love. There's only loving awareness. Nothing else is real. So don't get yourself hooked into these special relationships and special love, because it's not going to work. You're going to carry on in your separate self in this very dysfunctional and painful dream.
Mm.
So there is no love but God's. Nothing else is going to work. There's no substitutes for that. If you can be aware of that and take that awareness into your special relationships, it's transforming for them. There is no love but this unconditional love. What it does, it says I have to be unconditionally loving to everyone and everything. That's how it plays out in this world. We're like, okay, well, there's no love but God's. What does that mean? It means you must be unconditionally loving to everyone and everything in your life. So no judgment. Don't have any preconceptions, no judgments. Just see that they are the same loving awareness as you are. And in that you're united, and that becomes your only perception ultimately. Okay? Any other thoughts?
No, that's clear.
On that first?
But yeah, I like it. It sort of resonates with me. Gives me a feeling of comfort.
And it's the end of special relationships. Again, these things are profound. The first one is like, I only have loving awareness in my mind. Apply that to special relationships. There is no love but God's. There is only this loving awareness and nothing else. Radically, radical change in one's mindset. If you've always valued special relationships and other forms of love, and you thought those are real, this is the end of that. So these ideas are enormously powerful if you apply them. Okay, so I see holds nothing that I want. And that's the last one. Any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, good, very good lesson, and just again, very poignant for my life situation. Yeah.
Yeah, holds nothing that I want. And if you can accept that, then it saves you years of pain and misery. That's what he says in the original lesson. If you accept this, and you're spared from all the disappointments and the doubts and the angers and the frustrations and the upsets and the dramas, because you don't value any of it anymore. There's nothing you truly want here. And people go, but how's that possible to live that way? I have so many wants and desires. How do I let them all go? Well, practice. You practice makes perfect. Well, I see holds nothing that I want. And can you see, if you look at all three of those ideas, they're all in the same thought system. They're very similar. They're just different aspects. The one follows from the other. So what I do is I put them together, if you notice, in this. So my mind, read this string together sentence that I've highlighted there.
My mind holds only what I think with pure formless awareness of perfect love. So there is no love but perfect love, and the world I see holds nothing that I want.
You see how logically they follow. My mind really does hold only what I think with pure formless awareness. Then there must be no love but perfect love. And the world I see holds nothing that I want, because the world I see perpetuates an illusion that there's some other awareness going on. So you string them together logically and they fit. And that's how you tell that they are logically consistent within the same thought system. You couldn't say my mind holds only what I think with pure formless awareness of perfect love, and therefore I experience fear and pain and suffering. It wouldn't make sense. There's a complete disconnect in the sentences. So that's evidence that this is a cohesive, singular thought system which works. Okay. So any other thoughts or comments on the lesson?
No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Good.
Okay, so let's do a meditation on it for 20 minutes or something, and then you can have your break.
Yeah.
And do some text. How's
that
sound?
That sounds good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So this is a meditation on today's workbook lesson. Another review lesson, 144, just 3 key ideas to meditate on, to contemplate. So just making yourself comfortable. Sitting on a chair, if you're sitting on a chair with your feet shoulder width apart. Your back straight, you got your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So you're breathing in, you notice how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Clench your sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Pull the energy up the spine to your heart center. On up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So scan your mind and just notice any thoughts that are going on for you. Particularly anything that feels in any way difficult, challenging. So, as you breathe in again, that my mind holds only what I think with God or pure formless awareness of perfect love. My mind holds only what I think with this awareness. Pure formless awareness of perfect love. There is no love but God's. There is no love but God's. Say that to yourself. There is no love but pure formless awareness of perfect loves. And feel into those words. So just breathing in again. And feeling the truth, the power of these words. There is no kind of love, special love for people, pets, places, events, activities, material possessions, things, substances, and so on. There's no love There is no love but God's, or pure formless awareness of perfect love. Breathe that in, infuse every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in this loving awareness. Because of this, the world I see holds nothing that I want. So again, breathing in, bring to mind anything in your mind's eye that is tempting. The external person, special relationship, object, pet, activity, substance, event, anything. And really is just saying with this teaching that it's all the same. World I see holds nothing that I want. Just observe what maybe you still think you do want. Observe how that expectation, that desire is connected to any sense of suffering, any sense of life not being as you want it, not being okay. World I see holds nothing that I want. Embrace the truth, who you really are. Exhale. On the truth of this and have a sense of letting go. There's relationships to pets, family, friends, letting go of friendships. And sink inwards. Exhale, blow away all of these false idols, these attachments to things in this world which are illusory. In the process, you're letting go of the thought system behind it. That's the power of this teaching. You let go of the thought system of the ego, which is a separate self. And you drop all of that and you open your mind to the truth of your true awareness. So there's really nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. And just breathe, relax, be still. And invite the experience. These words are pointed to a deeper experience. You go beyond the words. Mind holds only what I think with God, or pure formless awareness of perfect love, and there is no love but God's, or pure formless awareness of perfect loves, and the world I see holds nothing that I want. These are all just pointers to a state of loving awareness, which you can enter right now. So just sinking inwards, surrender in to this deeper awareness, this loving awareness. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to say, think about, just you need to relax and be still. Just observe your breath flowing in and out through your nose. Focus your attention on the breath, so keep your mind away from distracting thoughts. So if your mind is thinking about various other things, if any thoughts come up, so you disturb your peace in any way or just distract you, you remind yourself that my mind holds only what I think with guide or pure formless awareness of perfect love. Only this awareness, only with loving awareness. And there is no love, but there is no love but God's or pure formless awareness of perfect love. So there is only this awareness, which feels deeply peaceful, feels calm, feels connected. Because this is the truth, the world I see holds nothing that I want. Take a deep breath in again. Invite this loving awareness, ultimate loving awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is our alternative name for God, into your awareness. Let it infuse every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, and every fiber of your being is in this awareness. Just sinking inwards and going deeper and deeper with each breath into this loving awareness. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about for the next couple of minutes of deep silence. Just experience this pure formless awareness of perfect love we call God directly in and as your own experience for the next 2 minutes of deep silence. So just coming back in this deep state of loving awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, we call it, God. And you're going to bring your attention back into the body via the breath and the senses. And bring yourself back to the world via the breath and the senses. So on the count of 3, open your eyes. 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile, you scan your mind. Just noticing any thoughts, emotions, related persons, particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted or constricting in any way, shape, or form. breathe into that. Remind yourself that my mind holds only what I think with God, with pure formless awareness of perfect love. It's only this loving awareness that's open, spacious, empty, calm, peaceful. There is no other kind of love. There's no love but God's or pure formless awareness of perfect loves. And the world I see holds nothing that I want. Exhale and just blow out whatever. Just letting it all go. Surrendering it all. Exhale to help you do that, blowing it out. So the world I see holds nothing that I want. Blowing out any negative thoughts and emotions. Going, gone. The nothingness that they really are. So notice on the count of 2, the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling with your hands touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Smell in your nose. Notice all of this as you so just noticing what you're feeling, touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose as you breathe in. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment, with a sense of detachment. So you don't have to judge, name, label, interpret any of these sense perceptions. Just be aware of them. Without any of that going on. Naming, judging, labeling. These things create suffering. So just stay in this loving awareness beyond judgment. To help you do that, you can practice today's lesson. Frequently, I've sent you a short 5-minute recording to help you do that. And listen to it or just remind yourself of the 3 key ideas in the lesson. So these only take a minute or 2. I'm giving you some written instructions for that in your email and Telegram messages. And that will keep you connected to this awareness, in this loving awareness, the love of God. So it is said and so it is done. So on the count of 3 now, open your eyes. So just take a minute to look around, ground yourself back into this world, observing whatever's going on around you in this very calm, peaceful, detached way. Just noticing whatever your eyes happen to rest on without any judgment. And look at something else. Notice it's really the same awareness, this loving awareness. Your mind holds only what you think with this loving awareness is ever present. It underlies every perception and every thought you have and or could have. So just be aware of that awareness. And that keeps you connected with your source. That keeps you in the mind of God. And understanding experientially that there is nothing else. There's no other awareness. There is no love but God's. Only this pure formless awareness of perfect love is true. And the world really offers you nothing else that you want, that you prefer over this awareness. So it is said, and so it is done. You stay anchored in this awareness. God goes with you wherever you go, and this world means that this loving awareness goes with you wherever you go. You can stay in this awareness, avoid the temptations of the ego to experience another awareness by practicing the lesson. So you remind yourself of the truth that there's only this loving awareness by practicing the lesson whenever you need to, and that will keep you in that awareness. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and the first part of the session. So Elaine, let's reconvene. Do you want half an hour? Should we convene
Yeah.
at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so 5 o'clock it is. I'll just log off. Actually, I'll start a new session, and we
Okay.
can just do the text.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
Okay.
see you in
See you then. See you shortly.
35 minutes. Okay,
Bye.
bye for now. So yeah, thanks for watching or listening. If you watching or listening to the recording or the live stream, if you'd like to join us in these live sessions, then go to lifebuild.com and sign up and register to receive these a daily telegram message from me with some of the information that I shared. In the video, there's a daily quote, a lesson, a bit of teaching around the quote in the lesson, and I also send out a short recording that will help you to practice the lesson, and you'll be notified whenever about these live sessions. So lifepool.com, just put in your details. I need your mobile number for Telegram that you use. You need to have a Telegram app, and you'll receive that from me free of charge. Okay, and yeah, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then do hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is 3 or 4 times a week. So hope to see you on the inside soon. Thanks for listening and watching, and namaste, which means the truth in me, the true self in me, acknowledges and honors that same true self, the loving awareness in me, acknowledges and honors that same loving awareness in you. And wishing you much love, peace, and joy in that awareness. Yeah, bye for now. We're going to be doing another session in about half an hour. So watch your live stream. If you're a subscriber, subscribe, and you'll be notified when I go live. Okay, thanks. Thanks for watching or listening. I hope to catch you soon.